I never do mind if a project I am working on includes some time-consuming techniques, such as hand embroidery and heirloom stitching. Such embellishments are so beautiful they take my breath away. However, there are times when it is just not convenient to have a time-consuming project going on. At those times, it is useful to me and also fun to have a few quick projects that can be started and finished in only one day or even less. In my sewing room today, we will share with you some wonderful techniques for both the intricate heirloom projects and those quick ones. I'm so glad you're here with me today. This is the cutest and most fun and easy project. A darling little bag, so appropriate for many occasions, with a quilted fabric, and this is so much fun. Do you see the zipper in the middle? Half of it is pink and half of it is green. That's a nice little surprise. Okay, just to see how fun and quick and easy this bag is. And by the way, there is a secret to getting a half and half zipper. Purchase 2 separating zippers of different colors, unzip it, put a half and half together, and you have something very creative in the way of a zipper. The bag simply starts out as a square that has been, rectangle that has been serged all the way around, and as you can see, there's a contrasting fabric on the back. I'm so glad to have as my guest today, Linda McGehee. Linda is a designer, teacher, and author of numerous books and patterns. Today, Linda represents the Warm Company, and she'll be sharing ideas about batting. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Martha. It's great to be here. Now, you have a simple bag up there. This one, we've added a strap and quilted the fabric using batting with 2 layers of fabric and actually painted it too. And because the fabric was larger than we needed, we took the leftovers and created a smaller bag. So what we're doing today is learning a basic technique, and it really doesn't matter the sizing. So it doesn't have to be an exact science. You mentioned the 2-tone zippers. This is a separating zipper. They have a box in the end, and we're going to unzip the zippers and mix the colors, and voila, you can have a zipper that goes along with any project that you want. It becomes a designer too.
How about your school colors?
Oh yeah, well, duh.
Since you're from Louisiana, I guess I know where
I wonder how that happened.
But you can do that for school colors.
School colors, anything.
High school, the perfect graduation gift.
Zippers don't match the fabric all the time, but when you mix the colors, they begin to look like they match. We're taking a look at the right side of the zipper. That's the side that has the pull, and we're going to place that up, and the box will be placed about 3/4 of an inch from the end, and we're going to line that up with our serged edge. Make sure I have the right side up, and I've chosen to let the pastel side of the fabric be the right side as opposed to the more primary color side. I'm using a foot that's called an edge joining foot, and you can see that there's a little bar in the foot right here that is lined up with the edge of the zipper. The zipper is on the edge of the serging, about 1/4 of an inch from the cut edge of the fabric, and when I lower the press-a-foot, you'll notice that the needle is over to the left. That's important to me. It makes it easier. So the machine is doing the work for me. I am sewing right along, and actually as I sew, I'll let the edge of I'm watching the edge of the foot, not the needle. And I'm coming all the way to the end where I have 3/4 of an inch from the edge. I will back tack so that I can see the area that I'm working with, unzip the zipper, and form a little miter or a little pleat in the fabric. I'm going to come up to it. Whoops, it got caught on my presser foot, so we'll use our little pointer to tuck it back under, and that's going to happen to you too. So we will stitch over the pleat. Well, this is being ornery today, but that happens to you too. So we'll stitch up to the teeth, back, and then up a second time. Now you'll notice that my zippers are a little bit long. I never know what length I'm going to need, so I purchase a longer zipper, and I can always use the leftover as a trim on something else. So I'll trim a pocket with that piece. We're going to cut that off, and your zipper will look like this. And actually, while the zipper was closed, I did stitch the other side. So the zipper is going on the lining side of your project. Now to do that funny looking miter, we're going to fold the fabric in half, and you can see that I have a pin placed here, and then a pin is placed 1.5 inches up on both sides. And we're going, I know you do a lot with pleats, we're going to do an inverted pleat, and we will stitch along that edge, just along the serged edge on both ends, so that we have a pleat on both ends and complete our miter, so it makes a fashion looking miter on the end. Quick, easy, no waste of fabric. We're then going to take binding, and I'm not much on math, so what I'm going to do is take my binding, which is 3 inches wide. It's been folded wrong sides together, and I'm going to match from one end to the other twice, cut the excess off, and because I have a stripe, I want to be cutting along the striped edge. And if you ever have trouble trying to put this together, if you line it up as if it's finished, put right sides together, and then stitch so that you have a tube.
Okay.
We will place the tube on the top.
Okay.
And then stitch to finish our trim.
And it's done.
Yes, it's done. Quick, easy. You can make one of these in 45 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour.
Talk about making all the gifts, just sitting down and making all. And that, I love the idea of the colors, doing the school colors. Linda, thank you so much. And now Linda has some sewing inspirations to share with you that you're going to love. Linda, zipper jewelry. How fun. Goodness me, looky here. Tell us a little bit about these.
These are all zippers. We've removed the pulls and separated the zippers and glued it on existing bracelets, just inexpensive bracelets, or that's a headband. Wouldn't your granddaughters just love that?
Yes, yes, they would, because they love headbands.
There's snaps to decorate the zippers, combining different types of zippers together, the rhinestone zippers.
Zippers with diamonds.
Yeah.
For a very sophisticated look.
Absolutely.
Very, very much like it. Reminds me of things I might have seen in London or in Paris.
Yeah.
Really interesting
But
things.
you can make them at far less the price.
Oh, absolutely, including the trip to Paris or London.
Right.
Flip-flops. Oh, my granddaughters would love
and these are zippers, even using the pull just for decoration.
Just glued onto your regular $2 flip-flop.
Absolutely. And if you edge stitch right along the edge of the zipper and pull it ruching, you use that term all the time.
Puffed
zippers.
Puffed zipper
and then glue them together for jewelry. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
And knots. My husband taught a class on knots at one of the big shows, and he made jewelry out of his knots on zipper tape.
I just love it.
So you can do all sorts of things with zippers.
And those sophisticated,
Look at these
beautiful
necklaces.
Oh.
With paper zippers and rhinestone zippers. So you can do all sorts of things with zippers
And
that you
just
never
have
even
fun.
dreamed. Yeah, absolutely.
Linda, this is one of my favorite purses right here. Let's talk about this.
Well, that's the same bag that we did earlier in the show.
Just
And remember the
fancied
leftover,
up.
fancied up a little bit? Remember those leftover zippers?
Okay.
Well, the leftover zippers are right along this edge. Just double them up.
And
it's
how
not
about
an
along the bottom? How's
for
that the
piping.
leftover?
Use
Piping
the
zippers, oh Linda.
use the piping foot when you're working with zippers as piping.
You just got an heirloom zippers with puffing and piping.
Absolutely.
And then look, the double colors in the
top.
Oh.
And we even decorated the webbing using some of the webbing, as in the black stuff that was used for the strap has been decorated with fabric, and I used a fusible webbing that melts to hold the layers together to make it quicker and easier.
And more zipper scraps. You know what? I bet this is not a scrap, though. Is that sort of a...
The one around the edge was a real zipper. The others are the leftovers.
Your scraps, oh, I'm telling you.
And one of my students found a button that was just perfect for that, to combine all the colors together. So you get to use your buttons.
Well, Linda, zippered jewelry and piping zippers and puffing zippers. I think we have heirloom zippers. Linda, this is just fun.
We're covering the gamut.
I love your jacket and also your necklace.
These are zippers. These are zippers.
And your necklace is a zipper that you can put a name tag on it to
and
show.
I even have a heart.
Oh, can you turn around? Okay, now listen, this is wonderful. We know we have heirloom sewing here. We have a lace-shaped heart zipper. Well, Linda, this just opens a whole new avenue for heirloom sewing.
Absolutely.
With diamond zippers.
I hope you have fun with it. I have.
Linda, this has been so much fun. And now, Linda has a So Quick, So Easy project for you. Linda, what adorable purses. How did you do it?
Aren't they fun?
Oh,
this particular
yes.
one is quilted fabric. And so, and this one is using two fabrics that are fused together to make the fabric a little bit more stable. What I've actually done is take my paperback fusing medium and press it to the wrong side of one of the fabrics. Then I peel the paper away and place another fabric on top, and using lots and lots of steam, because that's what helps the fusibles to work properly, we press these layers together and they become one, so that you end up with a fabric that's a little bit more stable and durable for a handbag. Now that we have the fabric, this is basically a fat quarter, 22 inches by a half a yard. And we've cut that in half, and we can use this to create the pattern. It doesn't have to be exactly that size, but pretty close. This is a leftover one that has been quilted, and we can do the same techniques with that. We're going to begin with our all-purpose foot, and we're going to line the foot with the edge of the zipper that's on the ends of our fabric and stitch all the way across. The needle's to the left position. Then we will roll the fabric over and use our edge joining foot to edge stitch along the edge, which is essentially what's been done on this side. So we have the foot making our sewing easier for us. We're going to sew the zippers together end to end. So now we have a tube with the zippers holding everything together. We will offset the top and then fold it up, crease, open back up, and sew a straight line. So now we have two pockets in our bag, and folding it up creates the third pocket.
Well, that is just fun.
And we're taking our webbing. This is purchased webbing, folded in half. My new best friend, the edge stitching foot, was used to edge stitch along the edge, slide all of that bulk inside. You can see that we have a little bit of zigzagging to hold it nice and flat. And again, use the edge stitching foot to stitch along the edge. So now we have 3 pockets as opposed to what you probably thought was going to be 2. We did add a little hook over on the edge so that we can carry our keys or a little flashlight to make our completed bag. And in this particular instance, we've used a magnetic snap on the pocket on the inside to finish off the bag.
Linda, I love that little bag. That is very lightweight. I call that a little travel bag.
Great for traveling, great for shows.
Well, and you can make it fancy for an evening.
Fancy it up as much as you want to, or tone it down.
You don't have to carry everything you own. Just slip a few essentials in there. And
absolutely.
You've got a little shoulder bag.
And if you will decide upon your time element to make it, will determine how much embellishing you put in the bag. Great embroidery, great piecing.
Absolutely. Oh, Linda, thank you so very much for all these wonderful and fun projects.
Great.
And now we have some construction tips to share with you. I am so pleased to have as my guest today, Kari Mecca. Kari is the owner and designer of Carry Me Away. She is the author of 4 books, a frequent contributor to So Beautiful magazine, and a teacher at the Martha Pullen School of Art Fashion. Kari, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Martha.
Today I'm going to share with you how to take a basic shorts pattern and make it into a skirt. Now you can do this with any shorts pattern, and it's really cute, it's fun, and I'm happy to be here to share it with you. Here is my finished sample, and I've used this cute print, and essentially a skirt is an apron front on a pair of shorts. Now this is a finished pair of shorts with the apron on the front. It has a tie at the side to hold it on, but it's not connected across the top. So let's get started. What you would do, you're going to construct your shorts, including the hem, the waistband, but we're just going to leave one side seam open. From there, we're going to measure the finished hem to the waistband, and then from the waistband, side seam to side seam. And we're going to cut a block of fabric to that same size. Now don't stretch out your elastic, just do the finished measurement. So I've cut my block of fabric, and I have my lining, which is a contrast. I'm going to round 2 corners, and then we're just going to sew around it, and then we'll trim it close and turn it right side out. Now from there, we're going to get started with the trims, and this is where you can have some fun with it. I had a basic striped grosgrain ribbon, and we're going to just mark a line around the edge 1/2 inch. Just choose a measurement. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. The point is, you know, you have a line to follow. So we're going to go straight down. Now I have a corner. So to get around my corner, I'm just going to simply pinch the ribbon and pleat it over. Now this line here on the edge is my little cheat line. So as I pleat, I'm just going to use that as a guideline. And then once the ribbon will lay flat, then I can just let it lay flat again. Now these don't have to be exact. Don't worry about it. Just have some fun with it. Now from there, we'll sew along the straight edges, and then we're going to add more trim.
Always more.
Big surprise, yes. More trim, more is always better. We're going to add some spaghetti bias. I put yellow on the yellow stripe. So we have, again, a line to follow. You don't really have to think about it. Just, I glue based it down, and I sewed right down the center of the spaghetti. So here you can see the line I'm following. Use your any kind of basting glue, holds everything in place. You don't have to worry about pins. It's fantastic. So now this is our finished apron front. Now what we need to add are the ties. So I actually take and make 2 little pleats here at the waistband, and see how it gives it just a little bit of a flirty curve. And then we're going to just, again, we'll draw a line 1/2 inch from the top, and we'll put a little bit wider spaghetti, and this makes our tie. And we're going to extend the end. And now we're ready to sew it into our shorts. And we actually just insert this into our side seam of our shorts. And we'll sew that up. And then once we're finished, we'll add a second piece of spaghetti on our other side seam so that we have a tie at the waistband to finish. And that's how you take a pair of shorts and make a skirt.
Absolutely adorable and very easy to do.
It is really. And actually, I have a little something else to show you.
Okay.
It's, you know, there's never enough trim. So on the back, you can make a little pocket, and all I did was just pleat to make it puffy and add a little spaghetti. Again, just cut a block, round your corners, and it's basically the same technique, and just sew it in place.
Kari, thank you so much. That's adorable.
Thank you for having me, Martha.
And now I have some hand embroidery to share with you. I am so pleased to have as my guest Wendy Schoen. Wendy is the designer of Petite Crochet Patterns. She's the author of 5 books. She is a regular contributor to So Beautiful magazine and a teacher at the Martha Pullen School of Art Fashion. Wendy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Martha. Today I have something really cute to show you. Now this is called a shell stitch. What I'm referring to is the little edge along the the edge of the shirt. It's finished with a hand technique made to look like a little finished edge so that you don't have to put a regular hem in it. So let me go ahead and show you how this is done. Now, some of the things I'm going to show you are not traditional, but I have found them to be very helpful in maintaining the appropriate seam allowance. So the first thing I do is I machine stay stitch along the seam line of the fabric. Let me move it so you can see better. If you can see that I've done it in pink, normally I would do it in the same color thread to match the fabric so that it's not as visible. But for you, I did it in pink so you could see it better. Now, the first thing you'll do is take your seam, your raw edge rather, and fold it up to the seam. Then again, once again, along the stay stitched edge. So now what you have is a nice folded edge, approximately 1/4 of an inch wide, and the little stay stitching is right on the fold. I'm going to be using just a sort of a heavyweight thread, but you can use sewing thread that's doubled or sewing thread that has been waxed to give it a little more strength. I'm going to bury my knot into the folded edge, and then I'm going to take 2 tiny little running stitches through all the layers very close to the folded edge at the bottom. Now this is going to do 2 things. It's going to hold my hem in place and also mark the distance from one tuck to the other. Now bring the needle around to the back side and sew through in the same place and pull together the stitch. So that's creating a little pucker or a gather. Now sometimes I like to actually make a little slip knot here just to hold it in place, and I'll show you how it helps a little bit later. All right, so that holds the knot or the wrap nice and tight. So now I'm going to take 2 more little running stitches and make sure they're the same length and the same distance apart. Remember, you want to keep this as consistent as possible. I know it's handwork, but you do want it to look nice, so try to keep it even. All right, so this time I'm going to show you what I mean by the little slip knot. Bring it through the loop. This will help me align the tuck or the little stitch so that it doesn't create an off-center scallop. 2 more little stitches around to the back and through, and then remember to bring it through the loop and just straighten it. Okay, oop, I lost it. Let's pick it up again. It's not a problem. Okay, so this is actually the back side of the work. I want to show you what it looks like on the right side. So on the right side, you'll see that there is this nice little cup effect. And of course you can see the pink, but remember you're going to be doing this white on white or whatever, tone on tone. So let me show you what it looks like in the same color thread as opposed to a different color. All right, so this is the work as it progressed along. You can see the little shell on the edge or the little scalloped edge. Let me show you the right side. So if you look at the right side, you have these little, almost like a little cup or a little edge. 2 things are happening here. You've made your little stitches to make the little scallop, and the little edge that you stitched on the side, Martha, helps the cup hold its shape.
Wendy, that is so sweet, and I thank you so much for being with me today.
Pleasure.
And now I would like to share a piece from my vintage collection with you. Part of the fun of collecting vintage clothing is kind of figuring out who made it, for what purpose. Has it served 2 lives? And this dress, I'm sure, has. It's a little pinafore, as you can see, but I believe that this dress, I'm almost sure that this dress was originally a christening dress. The Indian Ayrshire, which is the heavier Ayrshire, and you see how the shape of it is a traditional Victorian christening dress shape? Okay, so I think this mother had inherited one of these, or maybe her baby wore it, and the baby got to be 3 or 4 years old, which is about what size this is, and she thought, I'd like to have a beautiful dress for my little girl, so she cut that christening dress up, or the baby dress, and made this adorable pinafore. And actually the little girl could probably have worn this for several years. Pinafores were originally used to cover clothing so they would be kept clean, and she had a beautiful dress. Thank you so much for joining me in my sewing room today. I hope you come back next time.